and to have, frankly, today's Post-Journal Tarp Skunks win, come from behind, and then at the same time have drop out of the Post-Journal that supplement on the Tarp Skunk. I mean, you can't make a better introduction to the supplement.
Right. And with the win. I mean, I think that's good. And again, I think it's we don't realize how hard it is to pull together players from across the country, have a week or less of practice, and then try to create the cohesiveness that can allow a win to happen or allow the team to gel. And Jordan's doing a great job with that.
Is that we have been able to take it up a notch for the stars of the future, our players. We can showcase their talents not just for one organization at a time, but for all of professional baseball. You can be sure that big league scouts will be in abundance every time we take the field. Our Secrets of Champions program, which has decades-long history at the highest level of professional baseball, is a big part of what we offer these guys as we recruit them. We're applying big league principles and practices that both give them a familiarity with what awaits at the next level, and most importantly, provides them an all-important edge as they go forward. Do you get a sense when Jordan or anybody was reaching out to the coaches that the Secrets of Champions additive was something which became a value added to the decision of coaches to send us here?
Right. I think it did, and Jordan, of course, has been with us since he was with the Tigers in 2011. So he knows Secrets of Champions in and out, and it is an edge. And I think that there are people who know about Secrets of Champions. And I think it helped with recruiting and then just describing what's involved. For example, the timing of nutrition for these guys, which is something that we developed with the Tigers. It's huge so that these guys have enough ready energy to perform day in and day out. At the college level, you don't play every day. It's just basically it's a weekend thing. So, just being able to have something that can allow them to be prepared energy-wise is huge. And when Jordan explains that to guys, they're like, wow, is this what they do upstairs? Is this what they do at the big leagues? And some teams do. With pitchers, who have we dealt with? The obvious ones over the years: Justin Verlander, Rick Porcello, Max Scherzer, 3 Cy Young Award winners right there. So we've been with those guys, and I think in the recruiting of players, have them come to Jamestown, that alone for pitchers is huge, and to be able to say, look, some of the things that they do, you can do. We can teach you how to do this stuff. The thing that we teach these guys, and it's not just for public relations reasons, is that we and us should be their main terms as opposed to I and me. So that when we talk about we mean the collective we. And when a player talks about we, his teammates are hearing we. And that serves to coalesce the team around each other. But it also is important for the media to keep understanding that we are a team. This is a group. It's not only the guys on the field, but it's the staff, it's the manager, it's the coaches, it's the ownership. It's everyone involved with the organization that is part of the process. So the we is where it's at. And the most important element is that it's science-based. This is not just, we're not guessing here. We've been developing this for 35 years. It's science, and it's going to give you an edge that you can take with you. Our job here is to get you ready for that next step, for that next level. And we want this to be something that you can carry with you the rest of your career. So that this is, it's player development oriented. We're here for you. And then as we go through the season with these guys over the next couple of months, there are going to be some things that we can work on, fine-tuning individual players a certain way, and they'll be able to take that with them. So we're here to service the players. We're here for them, and once we convey that, day in and day out, I think it all comes together.
baseball an interest that was natural to you? Was this something your dad encouraged you to get involved in?
Well, it was, it's interesting because we've talked about this. My Uncle Pete, Carlo, was an usher
Yep.
at the ballpark. What was it called back then? It wasn't
College Stadium.
College Stadium. That's right. He was an usher, and he was a sports nut, and so he was the one who took me around to, various football games, basketball games, the whole bit. And so there was an opportunity in 1965 where they had identified somebody to be a bat boy, and then the guy moved out of town. So, my Uncle Pete said, well, my nephew George can be a bat boy. So I was given the job, and I remember just like yesterday when I showed up, there wasn't a uniform that was small enough for a 12-year-old kid, so they made do, and and of course, you go get the bat, you bring the balls to the umpire, you stay out of the way. Basically, those were the instructions. And we had a center fielder at the time. His name was Willie Redmond, and he was awesome because he modeled himself after Willie Mays. So he made basket catches, which were highly unusual. And so I was, my first game there, this fellow comes and puts his arm around me, and he said, "Look, you're new, and I'm new." He said, "Anything you need, let me know, and I may ask you for some things as well." Now, I'm a 12-year-old kid looking up to this professional baseball player, and I went from there. He became one of my heroes, and actually the next year, in spring training, he hit a grand slam, and I remember seeing it in the paper here, and I was very excited. We also had, Jim Leland was on that team, and he was a catcher, and I used to spend a little bit of extra time with the catchers because they did bullpens and all of that kind of thing. So that was pretty cool. We had Jim Rooker was involved at the time, and we also had a third baseman named Larry Haggett, I remember, and a few others. So anyway, that was the beginning, and of course. At that time,
did you learn some language?
They were pretty good around me, but I learned some language. Yeah,
When you were 13.
Yeah. No, that was a lot of fun.
So Yankees is your team, but during that '60s, one of the other major names was a guy named Al Kaline, and later on in life, at some point, you put on a Tigers uniform and you meet him. What was your sense?
Oh, it was amazing because, Al Kaline, of course, was a contemporary of our guys, of Mantle and Maris, and I can give you the lineup of the '62 Yankees: Bobby Richardson, Tony Kubek. Third was Maris. Fourth, and anyway, fourth was Mickey. Sometimes Elson Howard hit fifth. Other times it was Clete Boyer. But anyway,
You're showing off.
just showing off here. But it made an imprint. But when I first met Al, it was in a meeting, and I had been with the Tigers for a couple of years before I actually got a chance to meet him, and it was interesting because we sort of sat down in a conference room, and he said, "Now, what is it that you do?" And I was, well, it's the science of performance. And he was very polite, and he said, "Okay," he said, "you're going to have to work with me a little bit to understand, a little more." So he and I started to, we would chat at least once a week through the season, and he was really good, and he always had some ideas that related back to him. He'd say, "I remember this son of a gun was a real horse's ass until something like this happened." So he was great, and what a human being, just absolutely amazing. And of course, there were others, you know, in the time with the Tigers. You know, Willie Horton. What a person, you know, and you know, Lance Parrish and Tom Brookins and all of those guys. You know, it was what an honor to be able to work alongside those guys and have them feel that we might have something to offer.
Yeah.
You know, that was cool.
Well, we anticipate a very unique year this year, our first. And George, you're right. You're at day one of the Tarp Skunks.
Well, this is an honor. Are you kidding me? To be back in Jamestown as part of this, you know, from being a bat boy. I mean, it's awesome. Doesn't get any better.
You'll be back on the field in a uniform.
That's right.
Thank you, George.
Sure.